Hey, how are my chat room dogs doing, man? The only lecture on fear a man needs to hear. Man, somewhere along the way, guys, somebody told you that courage was the answer. Feel the fear and just have enough courage to just wipe it out when it comes to seeing a woman and being interested in her. And someone probably on YouTube said to a lot of you young men out here, push through it or man up, grind through it. And for many of you young guys today, you're just tired, man. You keep trying, you keep trying to grow. You keep trying to get it right, and every time you try to get it right, it seems like it just goes so wrong. It seems like you walked into a room when you see a woman and your chest is tight, your hands are sweaty mom spaghetti, you know what I mean? And you told yourself several times that, you know what, I just gotta push through it and talk to that woman. I just gotta push through it because I know that there's something on the other side of that. But here's the thing that nobody actually told you, that motivational platforms and things like that and people that's trying to get you to believe yourself are never going to actually tell you this, okay? That you're just not free right now, you know what I mean? And that being afraid is not actually the problem that a lot of you guys are having. And with the significant difference between the two things about fear and being afraid is, when it comes to the game, guys, I'm not here to actually motivate you. Nah, not at all, man. I'm just here to really break something down, because what's running on the background of your dating life, your ambitions when it comes to women, your relationships when it comes to women, the silence and the things that happen when all along you've been fighting this seem like you're just fighting this demon, or you're fighting this thing that is really just really frustrating you and getting you mad and getting you angry. And there's a part of you that wants to try to figure it out. There's a part of you that wants to grow. And people don't understand, man. Sometimes you just can't fight what's not there. And all you've been doing all your life is you've been fighting the wrong way, because no one actually told you how to fight the right way. You know what I mean? See, the problem is that you cannot fight fear, because people don't understand fighting it is the fear. And what you have to learn when it comes to the game that nobody's going to talk to you about, nobody's going to teach you about, and no one's actually going to tell you about when it comes to all of this, is that it's not the fear that's actually the problem. It's just sometimes a lot of guys are just afraid to fight what is in front of them. And it doesn't make you a bad person at all. It's just that you feel that sometimes I can push through the problem, and sometimes I can get past what I feel when I see a woman. But that's not the problem. That's not the problem, guys. Because I think what most guys don't understand is that the moment you split yourself into the part that's afraid and then into the part that's trying not to be afraid, what happened is you have actually created a war inside of yourself, and one that is just actually hard to defend or to beat, because that's how the mind works. The mind wants to split you in two and get you to fight a war against yourself, a battle against yourself, and one that you cannot win whatsoever. And I think the problem is that there is going to be no guarantee outcome when you actually think this way. And the reason why you're not going to have that outcome is because most of you guys are out here trying to be fearless when it comes to a woman. But you have become two different entities that one is trying to fight, one's trying to armor, and then all of a sudden you feel that's some kind of discipline that's happening to you. And the problem is that your mind will call that strength. And it's actually just fear that has learned how to pretend and wear a mask behind certain things. There's nothing wrong with going to the gym, gentlemen. But what is wrong when someone tells you you have to go to the gym to get a woman? That's where everything is wrong. What is wrong when someone tells you you have to dress a certain way because you can dress any kind of way, you can lift any kind of weights, and you can have any kind of money you want. But if you have that fear, guess what? You're always going to have that one thing holding you back. Because fighting fear doesn't actually end the fear, gentlemen. What people don't understand, it actually feeds the fear. And it doesn't make you a bad person to feel a certain way when you get around a woman, but the resistance is the thing that keeps it alive. That's not a motivational concept. That's not mechanics. And once you can understand the way the mindset works when it comes to the game, that you'll stop this mindset and this mentality and stop swinging and trying to change yourself. Fear, which you guys don't understand, the reality that you're in right now. The thing about fear does not live in reality, okay? The problem is that most guys don't understand when it comes to fear. Fear lives in the imagination. The thing is let me show you something that most men will never actually notice, and that is fear is the most, it frees you. It's the thing that freezes you the most. It's the thing that stops you from approaching women. It's the thing that stops you from asking for a date. It's the thing that makes you stop texting a woman. It has so many layers to it when it comes to the game that sometimes we just don't know how to handle it and what to do from it. And it is such a thing that will slow you down and freeze you and everything. It stops you and it really makes you walk away and not do the thing that you want to do. There's a part of you that wants to talk to that woman. There's a part of you that wants to text that woman. There's a part of you that wants to connect with that woman or move things forward with that woman. But what happens is, for many of you guys, is that fear is not the reality. The projection that you have right now is from fear that is projecting a imaginary reality in your mind to make you think that you are not good enough. And what's happening is it's very, the mind is very sophisticated, and it works with the your mind is the enemy. It knows you very well. It knows how you think. It knows how you operate. It knows everything that's going on in your head. And it's just that the problem is that you're just a time traveler suffering in either a future or a past that is not even there. And sometimes we want to call that fear, but that's not it. What's going on with many of you guys out there, you're committing to a consistency that is actually holding you down, because right in this moment when you're hearing these words that I'm saying to you is that fear is the thing about the fear. The fear sometimes is a prediction about something that hasn't come yet. That what you're doing is you're tapping into it and believing that thing is actually real, and it's not real. And you can't unsee it once you see it, because you are the one that is actually the creator of that when it comes to meeting a woman or talking to a woman or anything like that. But a lot of guys are always going to ask is, how do I overcome that fear? You see what I'm saying? You know, sometimes I am afraid. I'm afraid of the rejection. I don't want to feel bad about myself when I see a woman and talk to her. I don't want to feel that way. So what can I do to actually change that thing? And for a lot of guys out there, at the center of every fear that you have is a very particular sensation. And sometimes of that sensation that you have is a person that's not connected to himself or grounded to the I am, one thought, one mind, one way. And when you're not grounded in who you are, what happens is there's a part of yourself that feels like it's sitting alone, that it is alone, that nobody will ever like me, nobody would ever want to be with me, and nobody's ever going to want to give me a chance to actually not go, but grow as a man. Guys, I tell you, man, guys, I remember, man, I'll give you a quick story, man. So, I keep telling you I'm from the 1900s. So there are times, man, when we used to go roller skating, man. And, they would always, the guy would get on the microphone. He's like, hey, couple of skates, coming up. So we would have to skate from one side. If we look at a clock, I had to skate from 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock in front of a group of girls that the one I was trying to talk to could just say no. And it was nerve-wracking at a time, because it was like, man, if I don't say anything to her, it's not going to happen. And sometimes punching through the belief, or punching through past the fear into the belief in myself, can actually change up the interpretation of everything. And that's the beautiful thing about the game. It's the interpretation of everything. But sometimes when you guys feel like you're feeling alone and things like that, it's hard to dismiss that feeling that's holding on to you. And most of you guys believe that, guess what? You're in this small, isolated, fragile world where you are not good enough. And that's the lie. That's what the mind is going to do when you're not locked into the game. And what happens is, when it comes to these fears and everything, fear isn't a problem that you have. I mean, people think fear is actually a problem. Fear is the correct and kind of like a logical response to a belief that you have about yourself. And this is where everything gets interesting, because the sensation that you have is connected to a belief in which you have of yourself. And people don't understand how the mind works, especially when it comes to the game. Everything that you are is actually a learned experience. Remember, from your reality, you're taking in information. The world is saying this is who you are, this is why you are, this is who you should be. And unfortunately, you're taking all that in. So what's happening is that you guys, from a belief, have actually created a habit of this perception that you have in yourself. And the problem is not the perception. It's okay, but sometimes the perception is not the reality, and it's cool. But you have a habit of a perception that you got locked to in early on when you were young, and it has kept running on autopilot as a grown man. And you did not arrive into this world from somewhere outside of it. You came into it. When your mom met your dad, there was this thing inside of you that rushed you and wanted to get you to the egg. But what people don't understand is that same thing, or that same feeling that is rushing you to the egg, is the same thing that's pushing you to go in and try to talk to that woman. It's just in your mind, you have labeled it fear. So in your mind, you think whenever you get that feeling that, oh my God, that's fear, so I want to actually run away from that feeling instead of actually embracing it. See, it's the same wave that comes out of an ocean. The wave is not separate from the ocean. The wave is the ocean doing what it does in a particular situation. And that's the beautiful thing that you will learn about the game when you're locked into the game. One thought, one mind, one way. See, when the wave in this analogy, when you think about the wave, you think about the ocean and everything that I'm saying to you, see, the wave is the shore in the process of arriving, and that's why it crashes, hits, rolls back. And as a man, gentlemen, you have to understand that You're not fragile. You're not isolated. You're just an expression of something larger, okay? And the circumstances that you're having right now are not bad circumstances. You're not a bad person. I always tell you that, and I will continue to tell you that. You're not a bad person. It's just what you think about yourself is bad. That's where the problem comes in. The way you think about yourself, the way that you feel about yourself is the problem. And until you start to open your eyes up from that, you're always going to have the problems that you have. Society has a way of twisting the world around to make you feel like you're less than who you actually are. And until you open your eyes and see how things are and wake up from those nightmares that you have, you're always going to feel the same way. And it's not because you have no fears, okay? I just want to let you know. Sometimes we label things that we shouldn't label. And sometimes when you label fear, it does that to you. See, every fear that you have has one root. Because what people don't tell you, fear itself has an ending. And the fear is just something that is a version of who you are that you created about yourself when something happened, when you decided that I don't want to believe in myself. And most of you guys run from that thought all your entire lives, but you stay busy because you don't want to, you stay busy in certain kind of thoughts. Meaning that, let me give you an example. So you see a woman that you're interested in, and yes, I get it, you get turned on. Yes, you want to smash. Yes, you want to be with her. There is nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Where the problem comes in at is where fear comes in and it slows you down. And for all you guys out there, because of the fear, you kind of like chase validation. You have more comfort in validation, and that is functioning not a way that a woman needs to see you function. So we have to look at fear directly and try to imagine what it will feel like to go to sleep and never wake up. Not the brutal side of going to sleep and never wake up, but what I'm saying is that you have to imagine what it was like before you were born. What was the world like? You don't even know. I don't even know what the world was like because we were swimming in our dad's nuts. I think I was doing kind of like backstroking and everything, you know, in the nuts and everything. No diddy, man, no diddy. But the absolute nothingness before you appeared in this world, okay, it wasn't frightening at all. When you were a child, there was no fear, man. You would crawl. Well, first you started on your stomach. You decided to roll over off your stomach onto your back. You decided to crawl. You decided to get up. You decided to pull yourself up. You decided that. And guess what? When you decided to do that, the world and your reality began to change and everything. But you didn't have fear. And the mindset that you have is the same mindset I'm trying to get you guys locked into when you actually believe in yourself. And see, the projection that you have is that you're always imagining your own extinction when it comes to a woman. Not death, but something that is clicking inside of you that makes you feel like the world will end in some kind of capacity. Not the world that you're in right now, but if she says no to me, that's going to be the end of my day. You know, I'm going to go to the club, but if a woman says no to me, then my day is over. I'm going to pack up and go home. But what that is, gentlemen, that is more of what we call an expectation. And as a man, we don't have expectations. As a man, I don't expect anything of the world. I don't expect anything of women. And that's cool, man. I get it how your chest tightens. I get it how you get nervous. I get it how there's a lot of frustration to be what you feel. I have to be perfect around this woman, because if I am not perfect, then I feel like I'm going to lose out on that woman. And I don't want you to ever feel that you have to be perfect around somebody. What I'm saying is that there is a difference between being the fear and really being the person that is aware of the thought that he's having that he labels fear. You see what I'm saying? There's two kind of different sides of the coin when it comes to this. See, I want y'all to think about the game, and this is deep here because, these are things that you've got to understand. The thing is when it comes to the game, the sky does not become the weather. The storm moves through the sky, okay? It is always going to move through things. It's going to move around things, okay? And the reason why I'm saying that is that regardless of the storm and the weather, the sky is never going to be damaged by it. The sky is not going to sit here and look at the storm as a thing that's going to mess it up. It doesn't replay what would happen if the hurricane moved this way versus that way. What happens when it snows or something like that? The sky doesn't think that way. It just simply holds the storm the way that a mirror holds a reflection of you. That's it. And this is why I keep trying to tell you, you're not the storm, okay? You're not the man huddled under the tree in the storm. You are something. When you have the game, you're closer to the sky itself. Fear is going to come in like a thunderstorm. It's going to come in like a hurricane, okay? And I just want y'all to see the analogy, because if you can kind of see where I'm going at and see where I'm talking, it should change your interpretation of things, okay? That's the beautiful thing about the game when it comes to the game. And so like I say, you're something closer to the sky. So when fear comes, I don't want you to sit around and fight it. And I don't want you to try to label it. I just want you to allow it to run its course and allow it to come in and tell you that you're not good enough. It's kind of funny. I always tell my clients I always tell them you got to watch 8 Mile, and if any of you guys, I'm sure everybody's seen 8 Mile with Eminem, but what is so important about 8 Mile, what I love the most is that if fear is telling you you can't do something, why don't you just confront the fear and tell them you're absolutely right, I can't do it, and do it anyway? See, until you lock into the game properly, you're always going to feel like the fear is actually controlling you. And what I'm saying is that I'm saying as a man, I want you to meet the fear with an open curiosity and sit around and realize and decide that, you know what? Okay, you're saying what you're saying. I can't get the girl. She's pretty. She's going to turn me down. I'm not good enough. I'm not that guy. You're absolutely right, and do it anyway. But see, the thing is that most of you guys don't understand is that I don't want you to make assumptions of what you are when it comes to a woman. And I want you to realize fear is always going to come into your life, okay? Everything that's going to happen to you, fear is going to try to actually control the narrative in which you're operating on. And I get it, guys. Most of you guys out here, you're looking at the world and you feel like, nobody understands you and nobody cares about you. But let me ask you a question. Does the sky think that way? Does the sky look at it saying, well, does the sun like me? Does the wind appreciate me? Oh my God, it's a storm. No, I'm just going to be what I am. This is who I am. I am the sky. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move. And sometimes the sun is going to shine on me. Sometimes clouds are going to be on me. Sometimes the weather is going to change, but it's not going to change what I am. I am the sky. And I'm not saying you're the sky. You are just a man. And as a man, you are going to walk into the weather the same way. Gentlemen, I know a lot of y'all think this is crazy, but if you think about what's going on with you as far as the weather and everything, the weather is the weather, right? But you have taught yourself how to handle yourself in the weather. And if you can handle yourself in the weather, then guess what? You're not going to have any issues or problems being a part of the weather, okay? And you just have to remember who you actually are in all of this. Not the storm. You're not the storm. You're just the sky, and that's it. And gentlemen, what I want to say to you guys out here, if you can understand what I'm saying, I don't want you to put any cloud emojis. And some of you a-holes are going to put a cloud emoji. Just put 100 if you understand what I'm saying. Because until you get and learn one thought, one mind, one way, and learn who you are in the construct, everything at that point is actually going to change. I believe in you. I just hope one of these days you'll stop thinking about the thunderstorms, realize you're the sky, you're all things, and realize that it's just a storm and it's going to pass by. And if you notice, what's so crazy is once that fear goes away, it's crazy. It's like, damn, where did it go? It just comes and goes like the weather. So just remember that, gentlemen, whenever you feel fear, man, just remember what I'm saying. You are the sky. You are all things. Be all things, and there will be no fear. Guys, I will talk to you later. Peace. Oh, wait, gentlemen, I'm sorry. If you enjoyed this video right here, gentlemen, please, guys, take a moment and check that video out. That one right there. Check that out. If you check that out, you're going to enjoy it, man. I'm your boy, the Dean, man. Now we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.